Example number 4, 1 minus x cubed is common in both numerator and denominator, so we can let it be a to make it more simpler. So where there is 1 minus x cubed, we put a, so the first term there is a raised to negative a half, then x times a raised to power half all over a. So we let 1 minus x cubed to be a. So after letting 1 minus x cubed to be a, you bracket the numerator to make one term, denominator to make one term. So multiply both the numerator by a raised to power half and denominator by a raised to power half to simplify it further using the laws of indices. So in the numerator we have a negative a half and a raised to power half. So if we multiply by a raised to power half, we'll simplify it further. So we have to do that in the denominator to balance that expression. So multiplying with the same factor in both numerator and denominator is like multiplying by 1. So the first term in the numerator is a raised to negative a half times the term outside a raised to power half, then minus the second term in the numerator. We have x times a raised to power half, then times the term outside, which is a raised to power a half. So the term outside is a common factor for all the terms inside. Then in the denominator, we have a inside the bracket times a raised to power half outside the bracket. So we can simplify that further by using the laws of indices. So the first term there in the numerator, we can now simplify that further using the laws of indices. The first term in the numerator, we have a raised to negative a half times a raised to power half. So same base, with the multiplication sign you add the power. So negative a half plus a half is 0. So any number raised to power 0 is 1. So the first term in the numerator is 1. Then minus the second term, we have x times the two factors of a. So the two factors of a is a raised to power half times a raised to power half. So it is x, then you join the two factors of a, which is a raised to power half times a raised to power half. So same base, you with multiplication sign you add the powers, that is a raised to power 1, which is just a. So you get x times a. Then in the denominator, a times a raised to power half. Any number without a power is raised to power 1. So same base with multiplication sign, you add the powers. So a times a raised to power half will be a raised to power 1 times a raised to power half. Any number without a power is raised to power 1. So 1 plus half is 3 over 2. So we have a raised to power 3 over 2. So a raised to power 3 over 2 can be written as a raised to power 3, then all that raised to power half. A power outside multiplies with the power inside, so 3 over 2 is the same as 3 times a half, which is the same as square root of a cube. So fractional powers are root, so a half is square root. So after substituting that, we can now substitute back our value of a. Remember, a was 1 minus x cubed. So where we have a, we will put the value of a, which is 1 minus x cubed. Our a was 1 minus x cubed, so we substitute back the original value in the expression. So in the numerator, we have 1 minus x into the value of a, which is 1 minus x cubed. Then all over the denominator, we have square root of, you put the value of a in bracket, which is 1 minus x cubed, then that value of a has been cubed. So you simplify that further by opening the bracket in the numerator. So you simplify that further by opening the bracket in the numerator. We'll have 1 minus x times 1 is x. Then negative into negative becomes positive. So a negative sign and a negative sign is a positive sign. Then x outside the bracket times x cubed inside, you get x to power 4. So x outside the bracket times the x cubed inside, you get x to power 4. Then the denominator is already in its simplest form. That is 1 plus x cubed in bracket, then cubed, then the square root of the all that. So that is the simplest form of the above expression. So the above expression where we had the above expression, the simplest form, in the numerator we have 1 minus x plus x to power 4. So the simplest form of the above expression is 1 minus x plus x to power 4. Then it is over the square root of, inside the bracket, 1 plus x cubed, which is a, and the whole of that value is raised to power 3.